That noise is the sound of an updated sim racing system, because SimRacingSystem is now back online and they've got a whole bunch of tracks and cars all running with Assetto Corsa ready to go. Make sure that you click on the download link and download all the content, because some of the new series are using mod cars and mod tracks. You can grab them in the game by just going on the SimRacingSystem. It's got a little link at the top for each event, what content you need. But there you go, you just grab it, and it's a bit like going back in time to when we used to go on R-Factor Central and get the tracks for the events for that. But things have moved on since then. Nonetheless, the only event going at this time was the Mazda race at Nürburgring GP, the Mazda race. the only Mazda race, the famed Mazda race at the Nürburgring GP sprint track. It's the same track or layout that they use for the DTM. And this was my first real opportunity to actually jump into this car in anger and just put some laps in whilst actually trying to drive fast. So it was really nice to actually get in this car. I've been away and basically not had much of a chance to play AC or anything in the rig since the last update. It's been a sort of 1 month break from sim racing, and I have to tell you, getting back into things though with the Oculus Rift, and especially with this Mazda in AC, absolutely fantastic. You can see here that we're just finishing off the last lap of qualification. Getting to grips with that last chicane. The guy in front losing it. He was trying to put in his last lap, but he didn't quite control it. If you nip the curb on the outside of the fast chicane, it's not really it's normally the NGK chicane, but it's the cut-off version. If you happen to nip the curbs, your car can get into a bit of an oscillation, and it can be a bit of a nightmare, a handful to regain control. But if you thread it on through like a granny threading a needle before knitting a jumper, all is good, and it's a very satisfying corner, especially in this Mazda. So let's skip to the race, because you don't want to see qualifying. That's a bit boring. And here we are on the start-finish line at the Nürburgring GP track in the Mazda Cup car. Revving the engine a bit. I think we qualified in 4th, which out of 5 drivers isn't particularly a strong performance, but there you go. Sometimes you have to just go with what you're being dealt, and we're going to try and dive bomb up the inside here. Why not? When you've got drivers that are faster than you, the only way to get in front is to try and dive bomb past him on the first couple of corners. I wouldn't recommend it, but sometimes you've got to put your balls to the felt and just go all in. And almost got through there, almost barged our way through, but we lost that place. And now we've got to cover off the inside from the guy behind. He's darted to the right. And I think this is where we make a little bit of a mistake. We accidentally downshifted to second a bit too fast, a bit too hard. Generally that corner is a third gear corner and you can flow through it. I don't know what I was trying to do. And we're in 5th. Good start there. So we're going to try and work our way forwards, but this gives us a nice opportunity to look at the car models and enjoy them in front of us. And you know, there's nothing quite like looking at the back end of a Mazda Cup car. So, as I said, this vehicle is absolutely fantastic, and with us not having been able to do sim racing, it's really nice to jump straight back into a car that's so well balanced, and surprisingly, for a Kunos car, for an Assetto Corsa car, it actually sounds really good. It really adds to the immersion. The engine note is really in tune. And you especially notice it when you're driving around near the other cars, and it has that sort of almost iRacing quality to the sound, where you can quite easily position where the other vehicles are around you from the noise and how loud the noise is. But then your engine tone as well is also really nice with this vehicle for you to gauge what RPM you're in, when you need to change gear. It's just satisfied, and to be honest, one of the nicer sounding cars in AC, and I think Kunos are actually making a much bigger effort with the sounds of the cars, with the latest DLC and latest cars that they're doing. In terms of its handling characteristics, throw it into there. In terms of handling characteristics, as I said, it's a really nicely balanced car. Unfortunately, at the start of this race, we do have traction control on, which is a little bit of a cheat, and it does make things somewhat easier to pull back, and it keeps the back end of the car nice and tidy. And we've got the ABS on, which we left on for the whole race. I did turn the traction control off about halfway through the race, and it was actually a lot more fun with it off. But even with the traction control on, What is really noticeable with this car is just how many options it gives you to approach corners, in that you can go in hot and sort of flick it with the steering wheel to get the back out, or counter steer it, try and keep it tidy. You can really balance just under and around the limit using a combination of lift off, oversteer, turn in, or just getting the power on, and it's really fun to nail that and play with it. And this is where this vehicle really shines, and where I think it gives a lot of enjoyment to people that are normally prefer faster race cars, in that you can learn a lot of subtle technique with this and get a lot of enjoyment from just balancing the car through the corners and flowing it nicely. Flowing it nicely, as I say, in our case, chucking it like a baboon falling off a cliff face. But the satisfaction there, when you do nail the corner, you can feel it in the force feedback, you can feel the weighting of the tyres and the loading of the vehicle and the mass, and then you've got the choice, as I say, of the throttle, the steering and the brakes. It all just comes together to make something that's absolutely extraordinary. It's the sort of gourmet meal of a car. It does everything at a slow pace. I mean, it's not a fast car, but it does everything really nice. It's a well-rounded meal. It's a good pub meal of a car. As we go into the second lap here, you see we've got a bit of a problem with being taken out. I'm not sure if that is because we closed the door a bit too much. We'll try and rejoin the track here by doing a James Bond 360-degree turn, rear wheel drive into first. It didn't work out. We did get back on the track in front of the guy that took us out though. I'm not sure if that was our fault or their fault. Regardless though, we did keep going. I felt, even though this was a 5-car race, and even though we were pootling a bit slow, it's a nice opportunity to, as I say, get back into the car and sort of try and drive it fast and get to grips with it. We'll definitely be doing another race in this, and hopefully with a full grid on SimRacingSystem. This with 15 cars will be absolutely superb. But yeah, it was just so fun just driving this car and just doing some close driving with other people. Another thing that was really noticeable is that Kunos have definitely improved the netcode collisions, in that you can have small contacts. Obviously you saw there it spun us around, but I think that was quite a heavy contact, especially the way it clipped the back of a car. It probably would have rotated us in real life, but especially small contacts now are a lot less causing of that sort of domino effect of cars catapulting all over the place. And you'll notice when accidents do happen online in AC now, the actual resulting collisions are not as extreme, and the resulting crashes that occur are far more realistic. Then we're trying to get in the draft of this guy, and I'm going to try and do him up the inside. It's a tricky one, the T1 here, but I mean, Nürburgring GP, even the sprint layout is absolutely fantastic. Love the corners in there, the off-camber corners through the arena, and then trying to nip up the inside there. On T1, there's so many angles that you can take the corners on this Nürburgring GP track, and in AC with this vehicle, that's highlighted even more. I think we do get on the back of this guy. I think we do overtake him. I'm not sure whether. I can't remember. It was 10 laps of Mazda brainwashing. So we get through there a bit smoother. We're right on his tail. We're really struggling to get past him. And that's the thing as well with this Mazda. And this happens, although it's a different car from the iRacing Mazda. It's fairly similar, but I think this is a newer version of it. But the general type of racing occurs with this as it does in iRacing, where it's very hard to get past people, and you have to be extremely smooth and really concise about how you attack and where you're going to attack to actually take places. There we go, he makes a mistake, and that gives us a run up the left hand side. Absolutely fantastic. Car as well actually does have a good amount of drafting with it, which makes up for the difficulty somewhat of overtaking, especially on tracks like this Nürburgring GP Sprint. Oh, he's lost it. We got past him and he lost it, and that was it. That was the end of his race. He's gone off to the hospital. So on tracks with the long straights, if you can line yourself up and get in position, especially when there's, say, 12 plus cars racing, you can actually take places by drafting. It makes up for how much of a block the vehicle is, how slow it is at actually accelerating. But I think we're going to end this video around about here, because that was the end of the race. We just kept going. Someone else retired because I think they ran out of fuel. That's not the fastest way to take that corner, but It feels good. Can't wait to do some more racing with this with more people, as I say. Superb car. If you haven't got, I think this is in the Japan pack, this vehicle. If you haven't got it, you need to get it for this car. Absolutely amazing. And SimRacingSystem, hallelujah that it's back. It utterly transforms the Assetto Corsa SimRacingSystem. You can get into a race, people race better, it feels like an event, it feels way more like you've gone to a track to do something, whereas if you join a normal public server, it's not tracking your stats, it's not got much ranking unless it's minnow rating. Most of minnow rating servers, which are really well set up and some of them really well moderated, are basically running GT2 cars all the time with too many laps a lot of the time. Where SimRacingSystem, you know, you've got defined races on the hour, fantastic content that they've fixed, that they've chosen, good amount of laps, in this case a 10 lap race, with full grid. This is going to be absolutely superb. We'll probably stream this as well, but really good. I'm so excited to get back in sim racing with the VR as well, unbelievable. So, if you enjoyed this, look at that threading through the corner. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and like. Follow us on Twitch, we'll stream on there. We're going to be streaming to both Twitch and YouTube because we found a website that will send a stream to both of them, so we'll be on there. So follow us on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Twitch. I will see you in the next video we do. Thanks for watching this. Fantastic car by Kunar, SimRacingSystem, awesome. Goodbye.